Hi there, Oksana Tashakova here with some powerful communication information. Communication style is a very important element to consider in connecting with others because in order for you to really get through to someone, you must understand the way that they best take information in. Communication style equals learning style. There are three major styles of learning, and that is auditory, visual and kinesthetic. Most people are visual learners. They learn by looking. About 20% of the people prefer auditory learning style, and that is learning by listening. And just 5% of the population is kinesthetic. They learn by doing. We all use different learning styles at different times. But when you understand what your dominant style is and what the dominant style of the person you are talking to, you can use this information to improve how effective your communication is. One way to determine communication style is to pay attention to the phrases you use. If you are a visual learner, you often say things like, "Do you see my point? Let's see what you can do." We need to focus on what's ahead, or "I see what you mean." Or you can say, "I'll look into that," or "show me." Auditory people say things like, "That ring a bell," or "hear me out," or I kept telling it myself," or "I hear what you're saying," or "Listen, tell me." Kinesthetic, they say things like, "It struck me that," or "I can't put my finger on that," "I'm sticking with this," or "I've got a handle on that," or they say, "Hold on a second," or "I know how you feel," or "Let's try this out." Try and pay attention to the kinds of phrases other people use to determine their communication style and use this yourself to help them listen and respond to what you're trying to tell them. If you're trying to help someone understand your point, for example, it helps you to know whether a written report, graphs and images, a demonstration, or a talking through will work best. Recognizing communication style can help you to match your style of speaking to theirs in order to more effectively communicate. For instance, it's much more effective to ask a kinesthetic person how they feel about what you said rather than asking "How does that sound?" or "Do you see what I mean?" Another way to determine someone's style is by watching their eye movement. Neurolinguistic programming, or NLP research, has determined that we move our eyes in specific ways when we are processing information, and that depends upon whether we are processing information through primarily auditory, kinesthetic, or visual means. We all move our eyes in the following ways depending upon what we are thinking: upwards and to the right or left as we imagine something or remember an image, to the direct left or right as we analyze or remember sounds, and downwards to the right or left as we check in with ourselves or listen to internal dialogue. Now, we all go through these eye movements depending upon what we are thinking. But someone's dominant style means that their eyes will move in one direction or another more frequently because this is how they primarily process information. People who are visual processors tend to look upwards, either to the left or right. They're seeing some representations of the information. Auditory processors tend to look to the left or right towards each ear. They are hearing and auditory components of the information. And kinesthetics tend to look downwards in either direction. They're checking in with their feelings, sensation, or inner dialogue. So if you were explaining a job to someone and you notice that they are looking upwards or downwards, it could mean that a visual demonstration might be more effective than oral directions. Watching someone's eye movements has many applications in effective communication. In the Western business world, people are taught to make direct eye contact. We know that eye contact is one of the things that differ from culture to culture, but it differs from person to person according to their style as well. If you are someone who is an auditory or kinesthetic processor, looking directly at someone could actually slow up your thinking processes. If you insist on direct eye contact with someone who needs to process the information you are giving them by looking in either direction, you could be confounding their grasp of the information and making them uncomfortable by insisting upon direct eye contact. Eye movements stimulate different parts of the brain and aid the brain in making learning and thinking connections. Suppose someone you are talking with fidgets and fiddles with things. Your first assumptions might be to think that they are not absorbing anything you're saying. But if you are speaking to a kinesthetic, this movement helps them to take in what you're saying. In fact, when they fidget more, they're actually more interested in what you're saying. You may be talking to someone and you notice that the person isn't looking you in the eye. There could be many different reasons for this, but an auditory processor prefers to tilt their ears in your direction rather than focus their eyes on you. Another thing eye movements can tell you is when to slow down or pause to let people process what you're saying. We tend to speak quickly and more loudly when we're excited about something or have a strong grasp on the subject matter. When you're explaining something to someone else and you don't respond and adjust your speech accordingly, you can confuse them and make them feel doubtful, pressured, or resentful. Another application of eye movements is that they can tell you about the needs of another person in terms of personal space. Visual people tend to need more personal space. Kinesthetics like to be close and value touch. Auditory people aren't very aware of body language and may even close their eyes or look past you when they speak with you. Paying attention to these spatial concerns will help other person to feel comfortable with you and be more open to what you are saying. Try this exercise. Choose 3 people that you deal with often, personally or work-wise, and try to determine what style they are over the course of the next few days. Note the type of phrases they use and which type they use most often. When you are speaking to them, note whether they cock their ears towards you, looking at either side. This is auditory. Look down to either side often. This is kinesthetic. Look directly at you, with or without focus, or look up either side. This is visual. After you've determined what style each person is, try applying the following resources in your dealings with them and record the results. Whether or not your communication and interactions are clearer, more effective, and more productive. With an auditory processor, try asking more questions and ask them to summarize their understanding of what you've told them. With visual processor, avoid speaking with them over the phone. Use face-to-face or communication medium that includes voice and visual, such as Skype. And try to use visual models like images and graphics to explain concepts. With a kinesthetic processor, make sure they're able to move regularly and ask them to demonstrate what you or they mean. Try these techniques and see if you note positive results. Catch you later with my next video. If you've enjoyed this video, you will really love this ebook, How to Attract Success Like a Magnet. Unlock the secrets of power, influence, impact, and effectiveness. Value of $40, and you are getting it absolutely free from me, so you can discover what makes you most effective, what your priorities really are, how to focus on what will make the most difference in your career and relationships. You can learn how to get out of your own way and really get going in terms of creating a richly rewarding life. This ebook is complementary and goes hand in hand with the video series, the fragment of which you just saw. Click on the link below this video and you will get access to this amazing ebook instantly.